In this video, we're going to add a global search bar and implement searching for users, groups, as well as for the posts from the home page. Now, let's comment everything what we changed so far. This is my social media prompt message, and I'm going to leave this. I don't want to close this, or maybe I can copy this somewhere else and just close it. So what we have implemented in the previous video, this AI capability, we're accessing the OpenAI's API, getting the content. We have installed new package here, OpenAI API, OpenAI PHP for Laravel. We had a couple of conflicts while installing this, so it was pretty interesting. Let's commit everything, and I'm going to call this implement accessing OpenAI API to generate post content. Let's hit and commit. Something was missed. Okay, I'm going to amend the previous commit and include this one as well. So it's going to amend the previous commit. Okay, cool. Now let's close everything. And the next thing I'm going to implement is searching capability on our website for users and for groups. So I plan to put this global search field right here. You type something, you search for it, it's going to find the users, groups, and we're going to find the posts as well, matching the keywords right there. Okay, so let's start from the UI perspective, and we're going to open default layout, or it's called authenticated layout. And we have this nav here, primary navigation menu. This is our logo section. And then we have this right side, which is the drop down section. So I'm going to create a div right here, and I need text input here, which will have a placeholder search on the website. And the modal value is something I'm going to define it, but here we see this search on the website. We have this flex and justify between, but we need items center as well. So now it is in the center. And I'm going to put this on the left side, or maybe I can stretch on the full width. If I stretch it, then I'm going to give it flex 1. That doesn't work. Let's give it gap of 4. Okay, and then if this one has a flex 1, and then I'm going to give it also W full. Okay, cool. We have this margin, which I plan to remove right now, like this. Okay, so there's gap and there's this global search. So whenever I type something and hit the enter or on blur, I have to provide those events. By the way, does this this doesn't emit any events like input or blur. So if I listen to key up dot enter equals search. Yeah, let's just call search. I'm going to create that function. But does this work? We have to test this. And go in the console, go in the log, I type something and hit the enter. Yeah, this works. Cool. Cool. Okay, so basically on enter or on blur. No, we need to do this on enter click, not on blur. When we hit on the enter, we're going to implement this search, and we are going to basically redirect user to some URL, and that URL will be the search URL, and where we are going to render the users, groups, and the posts. we have to define this. And I will define new controller for this. PHP artisan make controller search controller. We hit the enter. Let's open search controller. Oops. I made this mistake. There's a typo in the name, so let me just rename this search controller. Let's hit the enter. It's going to rename the file as well. If you rename the class, you should rename the file as well. My PHP Storm does this automatically. So then we need this search. We're going to accept request. We are going to get search keyword from this request. Oops. Request get search. Okay, so then what we're going to do is just to search inside users. So user, not the user resource, but user query where we need where name like the provided word, and this is going to be search, where name like search, or where a username like search. And I'm going to get all users. We need the same thing for groups. However, for groups, we're going to search inside description as well. We are name like search. The group has name, right? It has name and it has about. We're name like search, or we are about like search. And right here we need the $sign to use that variable. And we need to search inside the post as well, inside body of the post. It should be groups. And then we have posts. Post where query. Let's copy this line. Where body like search. And I'm going to call paginate in this case for the posts. And I am going to call, actually we just need paginate and nothing else. Okay, then I'm going to return inertia response. I'm going to provide search here as a component, and we're going to provide posts to be, we're going to use post collection. Well, actually, I'm going to implement this load more functionality for the posts as well. So I need to do something similar what I have in the post controller in the index, or in the, this is the post view. This is the store. We have that. We have probably in the home controller. In the index, this part. Okay, if we go in the search controller, we select the posts, then we create the collection of the posts, and then we check if the request wants JSON, we are returning those posts. Otherwise, we are returning posts, we are returning users, and we need to use, in this case, user resource collection users, and we need to pass posts, not the post, but groups, and we're going to use group resource collection for these passing groups. Now we need to create this search component, so we need to go in the resources, views, not the views, but the JS and pages, and right here I'm going to create new component, call this search. Cool. And I need the following layout here. I need div. This is a script, sorry. So I need div, and I'm going to provide grid calls 1, but above small screens we're going to have grid calls 2. Inside there we're going to have users. We can provide this title, something like this: text, large, font, bold, and let's just type users here. We need second div for groups, and then we are going to have one div which is going to be for posts, and there will be this load more functionality for posts. This is going to be posts. Awesome. Now let's also render them. We are going to define props. Const props equals define props. We are going to accept users to be array, groups to be array, and posts to be object, because for the posts we're going to implement this paginated functionality. I'm going to open user list item. We have something like this, and this is what I am going to use right here. Let's create this div which will have class grid calls 2, and inside there I'm going to use user list item, and I'm going to provide user here. Okay, however, I need this v4 user of users and passing each user here. So I need something similar for groups, so I'm going to duplicate this. In this case, I'm going to iterate over my groups. This should be group list item. This is group list items, but we have this group item as well. Okay, we should use group item, this one, and we are gonna iterate over groups and pass each group right here. This group list items is not necessary, so I'm going to remove this from import. And then we need to take care of the posts. For this, I will open group/view, and we need to have a look how we are rendering posts. We have this post list. Okay, if I get this post list, I think this is what we need to use. And if I put this right here, we are using post list, and then we have this post, which is an object, and it will have this data. So we are going to pass post like this, basically, and we need probably this div, there are no posts, or something like this. No posts were found. Okay, now the only thing is to redirect to that URL. Let's define this URL in the routes as well. That should be only accessible for authenticated users, but where should I put this? Okay, let me put this right here. Route get, it's going to be search, and we are going to have keywords. We're going to use search controller. Let's change this into an import, and then we need search here. Let's provide its name. Let's just give it name search. If we go in the search controller, we are accepting search here, but we can call these keywords. Okay, so I think this is exactly what I wanted. Now we need to go in this authenticated controller, and when the search happens, first of all, we need the model for the search. So const search equals ref an empty string. We have search already defined here. That should be search, or let's call this keywords. Then I need to use router get. We need to navigate into route called search. We're going to pass these keywords dot value. We need to import this router from inertia.js vue 3. This nav link is something which is not used, so we can remove that. And then we need to use these keywords and add it to our model value. Or we need vmodel. vmodel keywords. Okay, cool. So if I output my keywords here, and if I start typing something, I see that this works. And now if I type something like John and hit the enter, this is my page. I'm redirected to search John, and this is how my content is rendered. Obviously, we need to work on this. If I zoom out slightly, the columns should be next to each other, the users and the groups, which is not like this. So we're going to work on this. But let's go into search and first of all, use authenticated layout like this. Then probably we should wrap everything in its own div and give that div padding of 3 or 4, depending on how it looks. Let's give it 4. Okay, nice. Then this is the user section, and I'm going to give this shadow and bg white. Okay, I'm going to give this one also padding of 3 maybe. And I'm going to give it also rounded, LG, maybe. No, let's give it just rounded. Okay, nice. We need to do something similar for groups. We need margin bottom 3. Okay, but we need those groups and users. We need these groups and the users next to each other. So grid calls 1, SM grid calls 2. Above small screens, we need them. Okay, if I just provide grid calls 2, always, doesn't work. Grid calls 2. Why is it not? Let me search for these grid calls 2. Where I have it used. I have it used inside group view, for example, when we display. This grid is missing. Grid is missing. We need grid and grid calls 2. Now we're talking. Let's give it gap 3. Okay, I searched for John. It finds everything. Let's go in the search controller, and I need to, right here, I need the $sign. Let's dump what is this search. It is null. String keywords. Now we see John here. Okay, now it found something, which is good. And we need the following check as well. So if users.length exists, so we are rendering this. Otherwise, we need to show that no users were found. How here we need to check if the group's length exists. We display it. Otherwise, we're going to show no groups were found. I'm going to give it text gray 600. Let's give it 500. Okay, and this keyword needs to be provided here as well. So we can provide that search to be keywords, but actually I think that we need to call this search. I need to change this search here as well. And then we take the keywords and pass it right here. Okay, this is fine. This is fine. In the search controller, we get the search and provide it here, and we need to accept that search right here. It's going to be string. We take that search. We need to use that in the authenticated. We don't need this here actually. We need this in the authenticated layout. We're going to get this inside keywords, use page props search, so that if I reload the page, I see it provides that existing content. So if I search for John 2, hit the enter, I see that John 2 here. If I remove everything, we see that the page not found. If the keyword is not provided, we can do this here as well. If search does not exist, we can return a redirect to home. So if I search for something that works, if I remove the keyword, hit the enter, it actually shows not found, which is kind of correct, but maybe we just need to redirect user. So I will use this question mark here so that it is an optional argument. And then we need this to be null as well, as by default. Okay, now we are redirected into home, but the home doesn't exist. So this is called the dashboard. So we need to redirect user back to dashboard. If I search for something, then remove that, we are not redirected. The dashboard doesn't exist also. I'm sorry, we need this route home, I think. We use search, home not defined, so we have dashboard. Okay, great. Now let me search for Laravel. Let's hit the enter. So it found two groups, no users were found, and we see the following posts. We want to show posts sorted by descending Also the users probably latest. Let's show latest. So first we're going to have the latest post, which we have defined recently with the help of AI. And then we have this. We need this load more as well. So if I scroll down, it should load more content. Which is not triggered right now. Why? Probably because there are no more content. Not sure. What if I search for just a letter A? It's gonna obviously find everything, okay? And then if I scroll down, then the more content is loaded. Inside meta, inside data, we have one more record. Okay, let me check what query is executed here. I think it loads too small amount of posts here. I'm going to remove this paginate, and I think there is this toSQL command. We probably need to row SQL. So if I reload this row SQL, select everything from post where body like A and post deleted is null, ordered by created. Okay, and how many records does this select? If I execute this, it is selecting 21. Okay, interesting. So it looks like there are a lot of posts which does not have the body at all, or maybe the body doesn't contain a letter A there because we have some posts, some test posts. If I search for word test, like here, how many posts we should have? We have 20. Okay, if I search for letter just T, we have 50. Okay, this is interesting. Now let's go inside the home page, and I'm gonna remove this dump, reload the content, this paginate for 20. Okay, good. Now let's search for just T. Okay, and if I scroll down below, it loads the second page. There are a lot. And if I scroll down below, it loads the third page as well. Okay, if I scroll down below, there is nothing more, so this is fine. And everything else inside the post is working perfectly. And we have this global search. By the way, we removed something from this UI. We have grid calls 1, and above small screens we have this grid calls 2. So basically here we have grid calls 1, but then we have this grid calls 2. Okay, great. So I search for somebody else. I can search for the user. I know that the user is using that specific social media platform, like Mary, for example. And I click on this Mary's profile. I can check it. I can follow her. And this is great. I can search for Laravel keyword. I can find all the groups which are for the Laravel developers. I can join to that group, and I was immediately able to join to that group. I can submit the post. I can see the users and photos. By the way, when there are no photos defined, we need to show there are no photos inside this group. Right? This is this should be done inside the tab photos. Here it is. Div v-else, not the v-else. We need the if first. If photos length exists, or maybe we don't even need this. So if it exists, it's gonna start iterating. What we need to do is if photos length does not exist. If that doesn't exist, we're going to provide this padding y8, text center, and text gray 600. Okay, there are no photos. This is the text. Oops, text center doesn't work. Yep, we need to do this right here. There are no photos. Cool. This about is also strange because that group doesn't have any about text. No rules, basically. Fine. And there are no posts in this group. Be the first to create it. Okay, to get back to the search, I think we have finalized that part as well. Now we have this load more functionality on post, which is great. However, if there are a lot of groups, if I search for letter A, we see a lot of groups. If there are too many groups, we should probably implement this load more inside the groups, and we probably should implement this load more for the users as well, which will make sense. But right now I'm going to leave it as it is. In the next video, we're going to implement searching for the posts with the hashtag.